If you like good food that's no fuss and no frills, you've come to the right place. Every week I share lots of recipes that are budget friendly, easy, quick, and delicious, made with ingredients you probably already have on hand.
Hey friends, I'm Mel and welcome to my kitchen. This week started football time in Tennessee. It's college football season and this week's video is tons of football food. We love to gather and eat all the snacks when we're watching the games, so these are perfect if you're looking for ideas for that, or honestly, just for a quick dinner any night of the week. So sit back, relax, grab some sweet tea, and go Vols!
We're going to start off with some cheeseburger party sliders. Of course, the first thing that we're going to do is brown up 1 pound of ground beef, and I am going to drain off any excess grease, and then you're going to put in like a small onion. I'm just using some frozen diced onions here, and I'm putting in a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, I'm going to season this up with some salt and pepper. Going to add in 1 teaspoon of cumin and about half a teaspoon of paprika. I am just going to get all of that kind of mixed in together and get all the seasonings distributed, and then I'm going to come back in with a little teaspoon of garlic right at the end and get it broken down and heated up. Now we're going to work on a sauce for our sliders. We're going to start out with 1 stick of butter. We're going to melt that in a saucepan, and we're going to add in 2 big tablespoons of brown sugar, and I probably used bigger than tablespoons because I know how my husband likes these. I'm going to put in a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and I'm putting in another tablespoon of the Dijon mustard. Now I'm just going to stir all that down and just let it simmer till everything gets melted and all incorporated into that butter, and it will just make a really pretty sticky and savory sweet sauce to go on top. Now you need a 9x13 pan here, and I'm using these Pepperidge Farm slider buns, and they're already cut, which is wonderful. And you can see here I didn't get my bigger 9x13 pan, and they just didn't quite fit, so make sure they fit first. Now you're going to remove your tops, and then you're going to take your meat mixture and just spread it evenly across all the bottoms of your buns. Anything that goes down in between, I just kind of tried to put it all back up on top of the buns so we wouldn't have any come off. I'm going to use this onion garlic jam from Jam & Jams as a sauce for my sliders. This original recipe called for rotel to go in here, but I didn't want a tomatoey Mexican Tex-Mex inspired. I wanted these to be really savory and kind of sweet. So I put more of this on one side than I did, on all of them, because I didn't know exactly how everyone would like them. Now you're going to use some cheese over the top. I started out thinking I would put some provolone, but I'm so glad I went with this cheddar because these flavors were perfect together. After you get everything topped back up, you're just going to take that sauce and try to pour it evenly across all of your buns. You want to try to get them coated. If you had a little brush, you could brush it on if you want to. I've done it both ways. Tonight I thought I would just pour it over. I am taking the back of my spoon and kind of rubbing it around, trying to coat the top of all the buns. And then we put a little bit of sesame seeds on the top, and these are going to go in a 350 degree oven for about 25 minutes. Now after they had been in there about 10 minutes, I did throw a piece of aluminum foil over the top because I thought they might burn or get hard, and I'm glad I did that. Look how yummy these are. This was so delicious. This was a new one to me that I had never tried. I just got so used to eating the sliders with the lunch meat. I just didn't know how this would be. This is absolutely delicious. We can't wait to have these again. And the onion jam in there, combined with that brown sugar topping, was so delicious. This is one of the best things that we've had in a long time. Football time, perfect for tailgating or any night of the week. We actually just threw some onion rings on the side and ate this for dinner. It was delicious. You could definitely switch this up with the McDonald's secret sauce. You could do it pickles. There's so many different variations you could take with this recipe and make it your own. And I will be sure and have it pinned for you in my description box. Now we're going to have some club wraps. This is the good old Jamestown irregular bacon that I get at Aldi, and I just put that on a baking sheet and baked it up in the oven, and you can see this is wonderful looking bacon. It's great. Now I'm going to pull out one of my fall favorites. It's a cranberry raspberry orange jam from my friend Janice at Jam and Jams. This one is so good, and you can see all of the yummy raspberry and orange and just all the good stuff down in here. And here we're kind of playing off the McAllister's Orange Cranberry Club. I love that sandwich. But we're taking wraps, and these are like the medium size, not the great big burrito ones. I could have used them because I definitely overstuffed these, but I'm just putting a thin layer of jam all along the inside of our tortilla. I'm just going to layer up with a little bit of honey ham, and I also had a little bit of oven roasted turkey that I wanted to use on these clubs. I use a couple pieces of the bacon and some cheddar cheese. Going to throw on a big piece of crispy iceberg lettuce and some very thin sliced red onion. And I'm already knowing here that this is way too big, but I'm the worst at overstuffing my little burritos, but I worked really hard and got this one wrapped up. Just lost a little bit out the ends there, but we eventually got it all crammed in. So on my next ones, I really showed some restraint and did not stuff them so full. But look at this goodness. This is perfect for those games where it is still hot outside and you want a little bit of cool, refreshing something, maybe not the hot, heavy burgers and chilies and that kind of stuff that we associate with football. So even though this is very hearty and very filling, it's very fresh and crispy and so sweet with the little cranberry, raspberry, orange jam, and it pairs perfect with these meats. I want to say thanks to Jam and Jams for sponsoring today's video. I could not wait to share their fall lineup with you. They have all the butters, the apple butter, the pear butter, and a blueberry butter, and all the wonderful fall flavors, the spiced peach jams, the blackberry jam, cranberry raspberry orange, and always have the savory favorites that you love. They've been kind enough to give us a discount code, which is FALL, to receive 20% off of a $35 order. Now let me show you a little bit of what they have in store for this fall.
I did not make homemade biscuits or any kind of biscuits this morning. I made toast, but it's because I want to show you how spreadable these butters are. These things are whipped to have a smooth texture. And I'm using pear butter today, and of course you can see all these ingredients. You read them and you know what they are. Everything that Janice makes, it is gluten-free, 100% dairy-free, it's vegan and low sugar. As a matter of fact, she makes her grandmother's recipe for apple butter, and she told her that she better by no means add any sugar to that. She uses either Fuji apples or Gala apples, and they are perfectly sweet enough. They use no artificial flavors at all, just the flavors of the fruit come through, and no preservatives, no artificial preservatives or anything like that in here. And look at that, how beautiful. And you may think that you don't like pears. I'm not a pear fan, but you don't have the grittiness in there, in the butter that you get when you just eat a pear. It is so delicious. You get the sweet fruit, but all the spices too. I also want to show you my other fall favorite. You know I love the cranberry raspberry orange. You saw me use that in some wraps, but this spice peach jam. You know I love the summer peach. This right here, this is so good. Let me kind of get some of this out and put it on some toast and show you how pretty it is. This is so warm. This is so delicious. Look how pretty that is. You can see the spice down in there. And give this a taste. First taste of the season. This is so delicious. There's so many things that you can do with these jams. They're wonderful to use as glazes on meat. They are so good. And these whipped butters, these are perfect to make like a stack cake with. And don't worry, next month in October, not only are you getting access to the Christmas jam again, but she has a pumpkin butter that is coming out that's made with maple syrup. I can't wait to try. Be sure and give Jam and Jams and their website a look. I'll have a link for you as always in my description box. This is a local business that I have bought from for years personally, and I'm so happy to be able to share them with you.
Now I have a delicious dip. First time I've ever made this. This is Trisha Yearwood's Charleston dip, and you use a block of cream cheese, some mayonnaise, green onions, and then you're going to use shredded cheese, Monterey Jack, and going to put some bacon and crackers on the top of it. This came together so quickly. The first thing I'm doing is taking about 10 Ritz crackers, and I'm just going to crush them up just a little bit in a baggie. And now I'm going to take that block of softened cream cheese, and I'm going to take 2 green onions that I've diced up nice and small, and then I'm going to use a half a cup of mayonnaise. We're also going to be using 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese and a half a cup of shredded Monterey Jack cheese. Now all we're going to do is just mix this together, and once I get it incorporated pretty well, I also decided to add some Lowry seasoning salt. This was giving me the vibes of like the cheese balls that I make at Christmas, and I love the flavor that Lowry's gives it, and I just felt like it would really add something to this dip, and it did. I'm glad I put that in. I like the paprika in it, and also the onion and the garlic. Now I've taken like a small 8x8 casserole dish, and I've greased it really good with some spray, and I'm just going to spread that dip out into that casserole dish. On the top of that, I'm just going to sprinkle those crunched up crackers that I did earlier. It'll give it sort of a crispy, buttery topping. And you're not going to put the bacon on just yet. It actually says not to put the bacon on until afterwards. But I did decide I needed a few more crackers on the top of mine. And this is going to go in a 350-degree oven for about 15 minutes. Now, after mine had cooked 15 minutes, I put my bacon on and stuck it in another 5 because this was some bacon that I had made earlier in the week, and I just heated it in the microwave and I got it nice and crispy, and I wanted it to get, hot in the oven. This is so good. I absolutely love this dip. These flavors were so good together, and keeping the pieces of bacon on top a little bit chunkier really made this dip hearty, and I really loved that about it. This is perfect on crackers. I could see you eating this even on like a baked potato. I think would be delicious if you put it on potato skins for a party. There's a bunch of different things that you could do with this dip besides just eat it. This was yummy. This is one I'll definitely be making again. I have a dessert for you that we have fell in love with. These ingredients cannot get any simpler. Cream cheese, pudding, marshmallow cream, milk, and Cool Whip, and some graham crackers. This is so easy and so impressive. You're going to take one of the larger 5.9 ounce boxes of pudding mix, the chocolate, and you are going to stir in about 2.5 cups of milk, and you want to get just all your pudding mixed up really nice and smooth. And when I read this recipe, one of the suggestions was to take about 1/4 of the container of Cool Whip and mix into your pudding, and I'm really glad I did that. It just gives it a little bit of just a softer, tiny bit texture that matches with the marshmallow cream. So I went ahead and kind of stirred that in and got it incorporated really well so that you didn't see like the white in it anymore. And you're going to take a 9x13 pan, and you want to line it with parchment paper or wax paper or something like that. And this is probably the hardest part of the whole recipe, is trying to get your pudding nice and even and down in the corners of the parchment paper. So I am spreading it out just the best I can into an even layer in the parchment. Does not have to be perfect at all. This side's going to get covered up, but you just do want to try to get it as even thickness around as you can. Once you get all that spread out, I'm going to put this in the refrigerator and let it begin to cool and set up a little bit while I make the marshmallow layer. You're only going to need a 1/2 block, 4 ounces of cream cheese for this. And you're going to take a 7-ounce tub of marshmallow cream, and you're just going to take your hand mixer and beat all that together till it gets really smooth and kind of all whipped up together. Once that gets nice and fluffy, you're just going to take the remaining Cool Whip or whipped topping, and you're going to fold it into your marshmallow cream cheese mixture. And now you're just going to grab your pudding back out of the refrigerator, and very gently you're going to take that marshmallow layer and spread it across your chocolate. And now is the hardest part. Once you get all this done, you put it in the freezer, and you have to wait about 6 hours. So 6 hours has passed for us, and you're just going to lift out that parchment paper, and I put mine on a big cutting board, and then I just broke the graham crackers in half, and you're just going to line them up across your dessert here. And now once you've got your graham crackers all lined up here, you're just going to take a knife and you're going to trim away the edges. But I'll tell you right now, don't throw that little marshmallow pudding stuff away that you're trimming off. You need to snack on that. That is some good stuff right there. But you're just going to remove all the little trimmings that you trim off. And now here is the fun part. You need to get this flipped over where you can put graham crackers on the other side. The recipe showed this neat little trick, just to put you a pan over the top of it like that and flip it over, cutting board and all. And this worked perfectly. Just peel away your parchment paper very carefully off your little pudding layer, and you can see that little frozen pudding layer looks perfect. And then you're just going to line up your graham crackers again, and you'll cut your squares out. These are so thick and good, and you can kind of see on one corner I got a little bit uneven, but that was okay. They were so good, and these cut really easy. And I will say this, these are delicious, and we put them in the freezer and kept them all week long in like a baggie. And when you're ready to have them, just take them out and just set you one out for a couple of minutes. And once that little pudding side begins to thaw out just a little bit, your graham cracker will stick to it, because at first it doesn't want to stick to the chocolate side because it's not gooey like the marshmallow. But you just let it thaw out a couple of minutes and it will start sticking. And these are so impressive. Look at that. I just thought this was the neatest thing ever, and we loved them. They're light and so cold and refreshing, and what a fun thing for a party. They held up really well because it's not really ice cream. It gets soft, but it's frozen pudding. It's the neatest thing ever, and it was so delicious. We absolutely loved them. We kept them, like I said, all week, and the only thing that began to happen were our graham crackers got a little bit mushy. Guys, I hope that you have thoroughly enjoyed this week's game day foods. These are great for any get-together or just for dinner. All the recipes I'll have linked for you. And don't forget, if you want to order some of the fall jams, I'll have the link in the description box, and the code is FALL for 20% off a $35 order. I appreciate you being here, and again, I want to thank you for all the love you showed my parents in last week's video. That one was so special to me, and I believe it hit a chord with each one of you too. I appreciate it. Let me know in the comments if you enjoy these game day foods. I've got more of them in the works this fall if this is something that you're interested in. Again, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you spending your Sunday nights with me, and until next time, I send you love from my kitchen.